Hey, I need a bit of this because I need the caffeine. Because sadly, this film is incredibly bland and boring. Because on the Peacock show, should have known. I'd rather watch mine for 2 hours and 5 minutes. At least I could play with it and be more excited, get my adrenaline pumping, as well as other stuff pumping, and have some release. While this would be just a release of anxiety from watching such a boring as hell movie. So this is thanks to Jamroll, who sent in the paid request for this. For anyone that wants to request any type of video, whether it be a topic, a reaction, a commentary, a review, a re-review, a rating, a tier list, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it. I'll get to it as soon as I can. I do have a CashApp and a Patreon because people have asked about that. Links are down in the info box. And I'll get to it as soon as I can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I know I should just get into the review, get it over with, but I need to start because I need to reiterate again and again, I'm a John Woo fan. The first one I saw of his was Hard Target. I love that film. It's one of my personal favorite films, to the point I took the work print and then the theatrical cut and I made multiple edits. I'm like, okay, that's not good enough. I'll improve it. Put the work print scenes in. Well, I'll put this scene in because it's the same, but it's better picture quality. And I've done that multiple times. I love Broken Arrow. I love the whole finale on the train. I really enjoy Hard Boiled. I saw that on cable way back in the day. I saw the ending first. I went, what the hell was this? It's like a gigantic action scene in the hospital. Keeps going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. And I'm like, what the hell? What the fuck is this? Then I go see The Killer, which I enjoy. Bullet in the Head. Very underrated film. I think that's John Woo's most underrated film because Hard Boiled, The Killer did talked about as they should. Bullet in the Head deserves a lot more love. It's a great movie. Even Once a Thief, the original with Chow Yun-fat. I wasn't sure on the beginning of the film, but by the third act, I'm like, wow, this is a lot of fun. I like it. Even Paycheck with Ben Affleck. Yes, it's PG-13. Yes, there's not a whole lot of the classic gunplay because of PG. But that film I enjoyed because I like Ben Affleck and Uma Thurman and Aaron Eckhart and Joe Morton. I like the cast. I like the sci-fi ideas. I like the plot device of all the items and what do you do with the items. And when the action scenes are there, they felt exciting to me. The finale when Ben Affleck's using the bow and kicking ass and the motorcycle chase. I like that stuff. That was a fun movie to me. Do I love every film he did? No. I did not love Wind Talkers. I did not love Face Off, although Face Off, I can admit, is way better than this film. Way better. Face Off, the hamminess of it just got a bit too much for me. I can enjoy that to an extent, but to me that just felt... Although that does have good action scenes, I will admit. It does have very good action scenes. And just Face Off was one of those films that there's parts I like, but there's parts that was a bit too much for me. That's just me, though. Is it the worst ever? No, far from it. Manhunt was horrible, and I don't know what will work. I really don't know what was worse, that or this one. And that's the sad thing. Silent Night he did before this, and I liked that film. Now, was it a perfect film? No. But I liked the gimmick. Yes, I understand it's a big leap of faith to have an entire film where nobody else talks either. Yeah, the lead guy doesn't talk because his voice is gone, but like nobody else talks. I understand that's a big leap of faith for a viewer to take. I get that. I can understand that. Even I'm like, But I still enjoyed the gimmick. I enjoyed the style. I enjoyed, the action scenes that were in there, and I really enjoyed Joel Kinnaman's performance. So, Silent Night I like. I thought it was fun. Do I wish it was had a bit more action? Sure. Do I wish the ending was different in a few things? Sure, but I liked that film. It's not like, well, it's a new film, so I must hate it. No. And I think Silent Night is way better than this movie. I know I'm 5 minutes in, I haven't talked about this, but why not? It's a 2 hour and 5 minute movie. You give me 5 minutes of playtime with your ass. Rather play with my own ass for 5 minutes. Let alone 2 hours and 5 minutes. Again, that'd be more exciting because I hit the prostate. So for some reason, this film has been in the works for years. Back in the day, Walter Hill, David Giler, they wanted to do a remake. And Walter Hill was going to direct it. And it was maybe going to be Denzel Washington and Richard Gere. Which I like those actors, but we don't need a remake of a John Woo film. Just, all you're going to think is, why don't I just watch the original? I don't want to see a remake of Hard Target, let alone Hard Target 2, which they did, and I thought sucked. I don't want to see a remake of Hard Boiled, and I did not want to see a remake of The Killer. But here we are, and John Woo directed it. I thought when I first heard about this project, oh, he's producing it, he's getting a paycheck. No, he's directing it. And I'm saying to you, Johnny boy, why are you directing a remake of your own movie? Usually you do that because you think you can improve on something. This improves on nothing. This has none of the grit. It has none of the atmosphere. It definitely doesn't have the level of action sequences. It doesn't have the chemistry and the intensity of the two stars. These two stars have jack shit. And it's longer than the first one. The original was under 2 hours, like an hour and 50 minutes. Probably in between there, like an hour and 48, hour, whatever. This is longer for some reason. And of course, because it's a modern movie, it's going to look digital, so even something's done practical, it looks so damn artificial, everything's so super, super clean. And I know that's just how films are today, but just, I'm a guy that grew up in the era of 35mm films and, you know, having a bit of grain. Yes, Jimmy Cammy, grain is good. Do you have your Bob's basement? Get out of Pandora's ass. Stop fucking the blue Smurfs with your telephone cord dick. Or whatever the hell, hair plugs, whatever the hell you do it. Plug your dick in a socket. And then when you become the Blue Man Group, then you can maybe, I don't know, get your head out of the Avatar muff diving clouds. Stuff muff diving Avatar blue chicks with blue dicks. Jimmy Cammy. Tire your ass too. That's a whole other thing. I love aliens. You know, but damn. Now he probably wants to screw one. Anyway. This film stars Nathalie Emmanuel. If she looks familiar, she was the computer hacker from Fast and Furious 8 to 10. And I don't think she's a great lead. I don't think she has the charisma. I don't think she has the presence. I don't think she has the it factor to lead a film, especially this type of film. I mean, hell, I know she's an older actress. I would have preferred Halle Berry. Hell, I would have preferred, because she did good in John Wick 3. That's it. If John Woo's like, I'm going to take the character that Halle Berry played in John Wick 3, I'd be more down for it. Because she has more of a factor than this lady. Or, you know, back in the day, Gina Davis, The Long Kiss Goodnight, she had it. Demi Moore in films like G.I. Jane, she had it. Halle Berry in Kidnap, underrated film, she had it. This lady didn't have it. So she's a hip woman working for this crime lord in Paris. Which is that why John Woo did this? Because he wants to work in Paris. If I want to see a movie with Hong Kong elements in Paris, I will watch Kiss the Dragon. Kiss of the Dragon, Kiss the Dragon's dick, Kiss my ass. Kiss of the Dragon with Jet Li And funny enough, Chetty Cario, who's in this film, which is why it remind me of, I'm like, I'd rather watch Jet Li's Kiss of the Dragon, which is a great film, my favorite Jet Li film, takes place in Paris. That's a worthwhile action movie. And I would say underrated action movie. Kiss my ass. So Sam Worthington, because he got, hey, those Avatar films don't come every year. You gotta wait 3, 4, 5 years for those Avatar films to come in, so he needs other paychecks. He plays with this Irish accent, this handler, which, of course, you know in 5 minutes he's going to be the bad guy, and big surprise, he will be the bad guy. And the job is you go to this nightclub and you take care of these gangsters. Meanwhile, you have this cop, which I don't remember the guy's name. I think he played Gambit in X-Men Days of Future Past. He didn't really do anything for me either. I could take him or leave him. We see him with his partner chasing a crook. There's some shaky cam. The guy grabs a kid. The cop shoots, hits the guy in the neck. Of course, there's going to be CGI because it's a modern film. Falls to, saves the kid. Then we go back to the girl. She's in a nightclub. And she's dancing all seductively. And then I guess in her dress, she has a sword in pieces. And while she's dancing, she's able to get the pieces of the sword out and connect it all while hands behind her back. Which I gotta say, that does take talent. That not a single damn person saw that. Because there's, there are other people in the club, but nobody else saw that. And then an action scene happens. And that's the thing, is that before I go on and just go through the story, I don't understand what the point of this remake was. Usually, again, you remake something, you want to update something, you want to improve on something, or you want to throw in new ideas. It doesn't improve on anything, because like I said, the actors, those older films had a grit and an atmosphere, and they were action films, but there was a certain darkness to them, certain serious emotional accountability to them, whether it be the way the lady gets blinded, and the grief that the lead character showcases, and Hard Boiled. Just that one scene where the one hitman, the one killer, he decides not to shoot with the other guy, but then the other bad guys come in and just waste all the innocent people, and even the one bad guy with the eye patch is like, what the hell? None of that type of thing is in this movie. This feels like a sanitized Hollywood version of a John Woo film. I mean, this is what people would complain about and worry about back in the day of, no, don't remake John Woo because you don't want to Hollywoodize it. You don't want to sanitize it. And what's funny is that when John Woo himself did it, he didn't do that in Hard Target. He's, cutting ears off. And what's sad is John Woo, I saw an interview where he said, oh, the mistake I made was I made that film too much like a Hong Kong movie. I should have made more like a Hollywood movie. This is when he was interviewed for Silent Night. Like, wow, he's surprised that people like it. He likes that people like it. But, so he was being nice about the film, but still he's mentioning how he should have made it more of a Hollywood film. Which is then what he did. Broken Arrow, which is still great, and, then Face Off. I'm like, no, John, that's what makes Hard Target great, is because you did that. But if that's his thinking, that leads to something like this, where it's just much more sanitized and much more bland. This is a very boring movie that went for over 2 hours long on the Peacock. Suck my cock. Please. Thank you. Here's your deposit. Right in your mouth. But okay, so you're updating it, what? Okay, instead of 2 Asian folks, it's 2 black folks. Okay, instead of Hong Kong, it's Paris. Okay, if that's what was needed for an update, congrats? Question mark? Question mark? Big deal to me. I don't care. And then the action, again, the action's not improved. It's much more cleaner looking. It's much more, again, sanitized looking. It's trying to be a bit lighter in tone with a musical score that did not fit. There are times where there's kind of these random saxophone stuff, or there are times where it sounded like it's trying to be a much lighter film than it is. And, well, I guess it is a lighter film. So, I don't know, the musical score was really weird in this movie. Oh yeah, Chucky Terrio, I mentioned him. Who he was the bad guy in Kiss of the Dragon and Bad Boys 1. He plays a tailor who's a friend of the lead lady. You can tell kind of like a father figure to her. So again, she goes to a nightclub. She's the singer is trying to sing, but I think she fails. I think the song is "Let's Live for Today." I don't think she's much of a singer. Now I can't sing, but I don't say I sing. But she could barely sing, and I kind of wish she would stop singing, so my eye, my ears would stop bleeding. And then she kills a few with a sword. Sadly, not the singer, so she stopped singing. But our, what was her name? Z. The Nathalie Emmanuel's character is Z. Z starts killing a couple people with a sword. And it's stuff you've seen done better in John Wick films, in the film Nobody, even Atomic Blonde. That's a flawed film. I'm not a fan of that movie, but it's still way better than this movie. And you get some CGI bullets, CGI bullet hits. They even do, like a scene from, this reminded me of Resident Evil, the movie, where there's like the same position, and then she shoots the bullet, and you see the bullet go in CGI slow-mo, which Mila Jovovich did at the end of Resident Evil 1. The same position, shooting the bullet in CGI. And I don't know what the senior lady was doing. All this stuff's going on when she's looking at the sword. She doesn't immediately run out. I don't know. She doesn't immediately get the hell out of Dodge. No. She just sits there, stands there. And then when she sees the lady is shooting in her direction, she decides to, I don't know, move towards the bullet. It looked like she was just moving towards the bullet. Just the guy got hit. The senior flies back, which looked ridiculous. And she falls and she hits her head. And hitting her head, she goes blind. So then Z looks at her, decides, feels pity for her, leaves. Now, I know it's been a while since I've seen the killer from the old film. I try and remember, did Chow Yun-fat kind of know the senior a bit and have like a history with her? Or maybe I'm misremembering. If I'm misremembering, then this doesn't matter and I'm wrong. If I'm remembering correctly, then at least there's a bit more of a reason why he, lets her live. But at least, again, there's a bit of a love story angle, and you get a little bit more into the depth of the character. But there's none of that here. It's just, I feel pity for her. She's blind as a bat. Goodbye. And the music at times trying to sound like Les Miserables. Or whatever the hell you want to call it. And again, I don't know what that senior lady was going. Like, where the hell she was going. I think her name is Jen. The senior lady Jen. Like, I don't run towards the bullet. I don't fly back and then don't look silly as shit. So, of course, the handler, Sam Worthington's like, blah, blah, blah. You're supposed to kill her. You're supposed to kill her. So she goes to the hospital. It's weird. So the lady is blind, but she has a patch only on one eye, but she's fully blind. Now, I don't remember a part of her eye being cut or anything. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm sitting there going, okay, if she's fully blind, why is it only one part covering her eye? I thought it was a bit weird. Just for a split second, I'm thinking, oh well, she's blind in one eye, but no, she's fully blind. So maybe there's something I missed about that. But I thought that was weird. And she's going to kill the girl with this drip thing, put in the IV. And for some reason, the music is the drums, bum, 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 boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I feel like a tribe is going to come in and try to kill Indiana Jones or something. What the hell are you doing? Such stupid musical score in this at times. And then you hear from the cop. The cop comes by, and the hip woman's pretend to be this one person, and they're talking, and she can't remember anything. She can't remember what the hip woman looks like. The hip woman stops her assassination attempt. You get this backstory that this heroin was stolen from an Arabian prince. There's not a lot of style in this film for John Woo. One of the only things I could think of is there's a lot of split screens. Like the whole scene where they're explaining how this Arabian prince's drugs was stolen from this plane. A ton of split screens. I just said, like, well, we gotta have some style somewhere. So here you go. Again, it's just bland and boring is the best way to put this movie. Bland and boring. So Z steals a motorcycle. There's a little bit of a hospital shootout. And, like, they're trying to do the John Woo stuff. Like, she has Jen in a wheelchair, rolls it, then she slides and shoots. But just the way everything is lit, and it's so clean, and it's so... It just feels like... Weirdly enough, it feels like an imitator, and it's the same director. I mean, I know that sounds stupid. I don't know how else to put it. It just feels so sanitized. When people get shot, it's CGI. There's no squibs. I don't care about the characters, so I don't really care about the story. The story, I mean, it follows this kind of the same skeletal beats of the original. Killer protects blind woman. Cop tries to figure out what's going on. There's a scene where they're together. They pull guns on each other. And have a standoff. They get together to help each other at a church at the end of the film. Which, I mean, it's a remake, so of course they would have those beats in it. Which just made you go, then why was this done in the first place? I keep asking that question, but money. Just money. Money, 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 money. Peacock wants quantity. They need product. They need product to feed the machine. The streaming machine. We need product. We need product. John Woo. And what's sad, I think this got a bigger budget than Silent Night. I'm like, so Silent Night gets what, 10, 20 million? This gets maybe 30 million. Give that extra 10, 20 million to Silent Night. If you gave that 10, 20 million extra to Silent Night, you would have had even more action scenes in that movie. But no, instead you give it to this movie, which is a longer film. It doesn't feel like there's much action in the film. There's really 3 little set pieces. The nightclub, the hospital shooting, and the church at the end. There's a little bit of motorcycle bit where shoots a car, the car jumps. And then you have the standoff where the cop and the killer look at each other with guns, and they see a bad guy behind each one, so they shoot at it. With this weird, lighthearted music playing. I don't know how else to put it. And so the killer and Jen escape. Z and Jen escape. She finds out that Jen and this guy named Coco stole the drugs from the thieves, who stole from the Arabian Prince. So she was working with a bad guy who stole drugs from other bad guys. So the blind lady's not innocent. So it makes me feel a little less bad of what happened to her. And of course, Z is thinking of shooting her, so he makes her sing in a church. Because apparently, that's the done deal that makes her decide not to kill her. It's because she sings in the church. Sing for me! Sing for me! For a second, I thought, now sit on my face! You know, lesbo in action. No, they don't go that way. I swear for a second I thought, okay, she don't now kiss her. But no. It's just, you sang for me, now you live. Okay, I guess that's all it takes. And you just get a lot of cold, stale, boring conversations with, again, the artificial, digital look of a lot of today's movies. Where Z has the girl in this church, and Z gets captured, and the cop talks to her and mentions how you saved me in a previous job before where I was chasing a bad guy. So he trusts her a bit. She escapes, finds out that the bad guy's got the girl, finds out that the cop is being set up by his partner. The partner's crooked. Shoots the partner. They both find out that everyone's at this church. And the accuracy in the church, since people say I'm not fair, I'll give a couple little positives to that scene. Number one, I appreciate that there's a couple motorcycle guys and they get blown up and it's done practical with real fire. Whether it be there's a bit where a motorcycle is jumping off a ridge and someone shoots and you see the motorcycle blow up. There's another bit where someone shoots and then the grenade falls out of the guy's hand. Although again, this is stuff I've seen in multiple John Woo films. I've seen it in Hard Boiled with Chow Yun-fat shooting a motorcycle and it blows up. Hard Tardy, he shoots the grenade falls off and it blows up and the guy's body crashes through the damn window. And Hard Tardy, the third act. This third act is still nothing. Nothing compared to the original. Nothing compared to Hard Boiled. Nothing compared to Hard Target or Broken Arrow. It's still like a couple little nuggets that you're desperate to have something, so you have nothing. But at the end of the day, you're sitting there going, even like it's outside the church where Z is shooting people, then the cop comes in the van and shoots a guy, and then they're shooting a few people, then it moves into the church and it's more of some fisticuffs. But even in the church, there's a couple times in the church where I saw blood squibs, which was weird. There's a couple times. But I'm sitting there going, well, how come in this one bit in the church where like the cop's shooting and I see that there's a squib on the guy's shoulder. Why did you only use that there? Like a handful. Why not use that throughout the entire film? It's like, well, once in a blue moon I'll use a squib. Okay, if you could do it, just you do it all the time. It'll look better. But maybe that's just me. And the score is trying to have this awful saxophone stuff where the saxophone feels like it's farting. There's a fight that's happening where Z is fighting this female assassin and then cop guy is fighting Sam Worthington and a few other guys. And Z jumps on the bleachers or the... Not the bleachers, the rows. Jumps on the rows in the church. Jumps up like she's doing a black swan. pulls the guns out, shoots people here, gets on the guy's neck, twirls around on the guy's neck, like, and then shooting people, and then flips the guy over, and the cop throws the gun to her, she shoots him in the head, CG, and then all three live. So this gets a happier ending than the killer, because well, I won't spoil the killer. Let's say it's not happy for everybody, but I mean, which is a gut punch in the original, but it works for that film, and I get it. But it's one of those things that would I like things have ended differently? Sure. But again, it's funny how in this one everybody has a much more positive fate than the original The Killer. Is that why John Woo wanted to do this? Is that why? Maybe, I don't know. Just all, the girl gets her sight back. Yes, she hears gunshots, and by hearing the gunshots, she gets her sight back. And the hit woman, she's able to get the hell out of Dodge, and the cop is fine, and everybody's fine. Except me and the viewer. We're not fine. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this movie. The movie I thought was bland. I thought the movie was boring. I thought the movie was really just lame. I thought it was way too long. I thought the conversations just had a staleness to them. The characters had no it factor, no presence. There's no grit or atmosphere to any of the proceedings. There's not much action. And the few bits that you have is stuff you've seen done better in multiple John Woo films. There's no interesting gimmicks or story points that you'd even gravitate towards. I don't see why anyone would ever want to watch this when you have the original killer right there at your fingertips online to watch. So what would be the benefit of watching this version of the film? I don't see it. You tell me why. You tell me why you would watch this over the original. It's not completely different other than it's in Paris and it's much more of a stale, rotten version of the original. And these characters just, like the movie, I keep mentioning bland and boring. And that's what this is. Bland and boring. Lack of style, lack of grit, no atmosphere. I'm repeating myself now, I know that. And John Woo, again, I like Silent Night. But then you went back and you did this for the Peacock. And the guy's like 77 years old or so. So, I mean, who knows how much of this he directed and how much other people directed it. When you're 77 years old, and he can speak a little bit of English, but if you watch him in interviews, it's very hard for him to convey a thought process. Whether it be the broken English or just him being so old. I think you watch interviews, you go, okay, if this is how he talks in an interview, then how is he going to talk to actors and other people on set? That's what I'm getting with. Just watch interviews he did for Silent Night, which was, a year or so ago. I say, okay, now imagine that, telling people what to do, telling people what to think, telling people this and that. I would bet that he probably had other people, not going to say co-directors, but I mean, I'm sure there are other people that said, well, okay, well, he wants this, and he wants this, and a lot of times these folks don't care about a film nowadays because, oh, I'm older, I don't have much time left, I get to make a film, and oh well, and it's out there, and I still have my old films, and I'm having a fun time because I'm on a movie set again, and who knows how many times I could do this again, and I'm in Paris, and a lot of people think that way, and hey, to each their own, but it doesn't translate to the viewer. The viewer instead goes, yeah, kiss my ass movie. So, just retire then. Just retire. Well, maybe they just want to make movies. Okay, well, it doesn't mean I have to like them. Doesn't mean I'm going to lie and say this is good. Because I don't think it's good. If you think it's good, be my guest. I'll go watch Bullet in the Head. Hey, take that money, that $30 million, and let's get those films on good releases. Like Bullet in the Head and Hard Boiled and The Kill. Let's get all those films on good Blu-ray, 4K, cleaned up, features up the... Let's do that. Instead, that one guy, Hong Kong Rusty, who did it and then stole everyone's money. He's an asshole. Granted, he didn't steal my money because I got Hard Boiled. But, yeah, Hong Kong Rescue, if you ever see this, fuck you. You stole people's money. I didn't. You better be glad you didn't steal my money. I'd fine you like Liam Neeson would. Okay, Liam Neeson don't have nothing on me because I may not know karate, but I know crazy. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. John Woo 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 Woo, the Killer. And that's why we call this John Woo 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 Woo. Like the original was John Woo's the Killer. This is John Woo 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 Woo. Fuck you. Later.